guys, welcome back to season 2 of the Boss Queens with Voices podcast. I'm your host, the Advice Queen, and I'm joined today by the lovely
Aicha.
So guys, today we are going to be talking about sustainability, having a backup plan, and why Aicha chose to be a businesswoman and own her own business rather than, working in a, normal 9 to 5, 8 to 8, wherever you want to bloody call it. So, stage is yours.
Thank you. So, to answer your question first, in terms of like why I chose to try and aspire, I don't think I'm there yet, but try and aspire to be like a business owner. I think it was more like the need for ownership and also the need to be independent.
Okay.
I think it's very important for you in the world that we live in, especially to have a level of independence.
Definitely.
And within that, kind of like the personal structure or need to be free of certain restraints, constraints, rules, systems, and so I feel like that was like some of the keys as to why I think as well it kind of like is a massive confidence builder, because I'm not one, although I seem like one of those people.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I'm not very confident, and having like a sense of self-worth.
I get you.
That I'm doing something positive and contributing. Empowering. And contributing to society in a positive way. And not only that, like with the skill sets and the kind of business that I'm in, it's people orientated. So I'm able to not only fulfill my dreams, but the dreams of my clients and the people that I work with around.
Okay.
So it's like it's goal orientated in that aspect, that we're all striving to be better individuals in the state of independency.
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, what is your actual business?
So I kind of like term it as like music consultant. But within that we do various different aspects of the industry and of business within that. So like with our clients, we organize mainly the internal aspects of their business, paperwork, trying to sort out deals, where it be brand deals, distribution deals, label deals, and anything of that endorsement, marketing, conceptualizing, strategies, merch, content, products, output, anything towards geared. So it's music related, but geared towards a greater and bigger audience. So that's kind of like what it is that we do.
Okay, got you.
In the company. And like before in our previous talk, I briefly touched on how I got into that and stuff like that. But I think it's more people orientated, and it's very fulfilling when you're able to kind of like assist in building someone's career. Their dream, like actually getting like working with them to attain their dreams.
Their visions and their dreams. Cool. So so tell us a bit about what you wanna what do you wanna address today?
Okay, so basically, like we had touched on it, I think, before in our previous discussions. Episode, and it was about having one, being sustainable, and the next thing is to kind of like have a backup plan. So obviously, for at least I've been in the industry, I'd say like 15-20 years. And so like throughout that time, like in terms of sustainability, has always been to try and hold down a job, a 9 to 5. I went to school, studied, did all of that. But I think also it was key in order to maintain a level of independency within creating an independent lifestyle.
Okay.
To have a 9 to 5, so to speak. I think at the time, you know, I got involved in care work, and also it's also people orientated, people led, you know, and so I did that for about 5 years, about 6 years. But I felt like it was that, like, it had run its course.
Okay, so you wanted a bit more.
Yeah, I wanted a bit more, and to be honest with you, like, consistently I've done music. There's nothing I haven't consistently done apart from music. So
every angle I can
so whether it be journalism, writing, even at one time I thought I was an artist. I don't know what I was thinking of. But I've done it, didn't know that. In studio every night, so
okay.
I so I've always had music around me, so I just kind of like felt like, yes, that's kind of like the road that I want to go into. But in terms of like the sustainability, I understand that this industry is extremely cutthroat, and that in order for you to achieve certain things, you need to have cash flow.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is investing in yourself until you can find someone to invest in you. So that was some of the key things. And then obviously I have to say, I'm not the most responsible person, but I would like to say, like, I am responsible enough to make sure that there's a roof over mine and my son's head, and to have the basic needs, food, water, light, you know. And so all those things were key in terms of having a 9 to 5. And so that's what I talk about when I'm saying sustainability, being able to sustain yourself.
Well, I try to build yourself.
Yeah. Perfect, you know. Sustain yourself while trying to build yourself. I think that's a really good catchphrase. So that
I have to,
you know, capture it. That's really good. So,
but it's true, isn't it? Literally,
So, and I would say to people, like, it's key to understand where it is that you're trying to get to, but also being realistic about the means of getting there.
I get you.
So you have your passion and your love and your desire of where you want to be, but there's also the flip end of that you might not meet the right people 100% of the time. You might not get the investors that you need to invest in you, and so that would be an easier route. And like I said to you, care work, although it's miles away from music, it was a 9 to 5.
It was paying the bills.
And it was paying the bills, but it was still similar in that it assisted people, you know? So,
in talking about like sustainability and obviously the 9 to 5 part of it, and you know, I've seen a few people, well, quite a lot of people actually, in the last year, actually, you know, not having a 9 to 5, in a sense, propelled them to get to where they are now, and, you know, in the sense of being successful or owning, you know, multiple streams of income and that sort of thing. So whereas if they were sort of in that frame of mind that, they were, you know, entrepreneurs or aspiring business owners, but they were more focused on their 9 to 5, which was their sustainability in the sense of, again, as you said, sustaining the household, sustaining the children, paying the bills and whatsoever. So in a sense that made them stagnant, because, you know, everybody knows that sometimes, you know, after a 40-hour week you're tired. So, you know, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing, do you think? The sustainability side, I mean, could it be a hindrance in a sense?
It can be, but it just depends your level of passion, and your dedication to what it is that you're trying to achieve. Like, there's some people that are regiment within self, whereas no matter what they're doing, their cut-off time is 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Not like yourself.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else, but
No, so their cut-off time is 10 o'clock. I know, like, I've got a few friends like that. Cut off time. There's people that actually 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I don't know what they do, but that is me time.
Me time. Yeah.
Whereas even up until like the beginning of last week, I said I need to start doing that. You know, because it's not like I have burnt out myself yet, but because I'm getting older, I'm starting to understand that there's certain things that I can't do anymore.
Yeah, I think with going back with what you're saying, I think it's about having a structure. Do you understand what I mean? So it's not, and having a structure doesn't mean being just confined to that structure. So you might have to take a call out of your normal hours because you're taking a call from someone in a different country that's their time zone. Do you understand what I mean? But you prepare for that meeting. You schedule that meeting in, so you know that, you know, next week Thursday I'm going to have to be up at 3 a.m. because I'm going to have to take this call from whatever country. Do you understand what I mean? You don't consistently just stay up to 3 a.m. and don't have a... That's why, you know, obviously work is within the confines of, you know, 9 to 5 because it gives it a structure. So everybody's used to that structure. So whatever it is, it might be 9 to 5, it could be 10 to 10, it could be 8 to 8. You just got a structure that you know that within this time frame, this is when I do my work. It's like having a timetable, isn't it?
100%.
Do you understand what I mean? So you schedule yourself, you know that, you know, whether it's like, you know, for someone running like, you know, maybe an Instagram page or whatever, you know that you schedule your posts to be posted at such, you know, such and such time. You're not going to sit on Instagram scrolling for the next 3 hours, get lost in the source. You know, you post your post, maybe engage for half an hour. So you give yourself time limits. Do you understand what I mean? Now I'm going to take an hour break because you would have an hour break if you was going to work. I'm going to have an hour break, and in this hour break I'm going to have... I
think before it was kind of like the fear of me missing out on an opportunity. It's why I didn't. And like I said to you at the beginning of last week, I said, look, Aicha, you don't have to switch off your phone because that's a big step for you. But airplane mode your phone. Yeah. So it's like I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Because you can't have no contact with everyone. And what I'm finding is, even though I still get up early anyway, but I'm getting up earlier and I'm not feeling down and lethargic and oh, not again type thing. Even though, like, don't get me wrong, everything that I do pertaining to what I'm doing right now is just the most exciting experience ever. So it's like I'm always excited. Like, and even like this whole situation that we're in now with the podcast and everything, like this is the longest when I'm with you doing this stuff that I'm away from that phone.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a break.
Come on, even in Jamaica when we're on the beach, you're like,
Aisha, you put that phone down.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, we'll be out at lunch, dinner, whatever. In a party, she's on the phone. Like, please put the phone away.
I can't.
You know,
but yeah,
in going back to saying that you know you feel that you miss an opportunity, I get that 100%. But you have to put in systems in place that, you know, intercept. Do you understand? Because if an opportunity is for you, if somebody is seeking you out already, that means that they've called your phone. It's not like, you know, it's like Russian roulette. Like, okay, I'm gonna call 10 people, whichever one answers is gonna be the one. They're seeking you out because they know that you have a particular expertise in it. So they're looking for you regardless. So it doesn't matter if they get you at 3 a.m. or if they get you at 6 a.m. or if they get you at 9 a.m. They're going to get you. But if you have systems in place that, you know, could probably respond, you know, your phone switched off, but, you know, it goes to an answer machine, or you redirect people to emailing you rather than phoning you, then you've got a mailbox that picks up emails, that responds. When someone sends you an email, you're out of office, it will respond and say, I'll get back to you within the next... Do you understand what I mean? It makes your life easier, and also that opportunity now knows that, okay, she's busy.
I need to respect her time.
Exactly, and she's busy. You know, and it gives you more credibility. Does that make sense? In a sense, because now you're busy, you're with another client, so it's like, well,
I don't always have.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Exactly.
I think that's another thing. Like, I always, like, I can, like, at the moment we have about 6 clients, 6 to 7 clients, and even then it's not a lot, but it is when you think that it's 6 to 7 clients, but it's really their timing is 24 hours. And I was saying that to say, like, for me, I felt like if I switched off my phone, it's like I'm not respecting them and their time. So I was almost putting them before me. Like, they should be able to get me at any time, and they still feel like that even when my phone's on airplane mode. Yeah. So I've noticed that it's not them, it's me. Because so I'm slowly going through the process, and equally I was gonna say, in terms of the sustainability, that is a key factor of it. Understanding the restraints and constraints within a 9 to 5. Definitely. That you go 9 to 5 with an hour in between. And you go home, you lock up. Exactly. And so if you want to be a successful business owner, okay, yeah, you're gonna have to put in a little bit more hours. But I think it's key in terms of your mental health, your physical health, and for you to enjoy what you're doing more, to have those cut-off structures, systems, all of that, boundaries. You know, so maybe that means that you need to get a new, another phone. Yeah, I was even thinking about that as well. So you get a phone that doesn't have all those, know, WhatsApps and all of them, and that's your business phone, or your, whatever, you switch that phone off once you know that you're done with business, at whatever time you set yourself and say, that's it, at this point. Do you understand what I mean? And, maybe you have sort of a backup message on it that, only contact me on this number if it's absolutely important, because if it's not, I'll charge you. Yeah. Because you have to have some sort of boundaries. Do you know what I mean? I was watching The Crown, and if you see how many channels you got to go through to get to speak to the Queen, do you know what I mean? Like, even her own husband, it could take like 15 minutes to get through to her. So you have to respect your time. Do you understand what I mean? And have boundaries. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what I'm doing more. But yeah, to go off into tangent, like in terms of what you're saying about sustainability, I feel like it's very important, to be able to manage that until you feel like you're at a level now, personally, and where you are in your career, that you can now take that step forward to say, I don't need to so much sustain myself doing a 9 to 5 anymore, that my business is now operating in a way that I can pretty much sustain myself. And within that, trying to find means and ways in order to make that business sustain you. Yeah, definitely. That's so like retainers with clients and having monthly incomes and generating, not just having one-off deals or stuff like that, but trying to stretch it to 3 months and 6 months or 12-month deals, or having a minimum on your contractual agreements with clients that it's at a minimum of 3 months, and maybe you pay 1 month advance or something like that, in order to sustain yourself, so you're not burning out yourself, but like what you said, doing 35 hours in a week and then still somehow tapping in another 35 hours in that same week on your own personal business. So I think that's the level where I'm at. It's still like touch and go, but right now I feel like we're on the fence, where we're coming out of the 9 to 5 stage, and now of our business sustaining us and finding ways for the business to sustain you. Like you had said before, in terms of like the backup kind of plan. What was your? So my thing with that was that it doesn't always work. I mean, I was waiting for you to get there. I was going to say that
you know, I wanted you to explain what you meant in the terms of having a backup plan, because that could sort of coincide with sustainability. So I wasn't sure what you was going to come with. So explain what you mean when you say having a backup plan.
Yeah. So in like for me, the backup plan type of thing is that it might not always work.
Okay.
Like again, it's about being a realist. How many years are you gonna do this until you realize that it's not working for you, or there's not enough income, or like equally is that business sustaining you enough to be able to live independently. And so like in terms of like the backup side of it, how I chose to kind of like do it was say, all right, then I'm gonna go and get my degree. And so I went and got my degree. Then I said, all right, then I'm gonna go and get my master's. And try, and even though like I said to you, my business is music, I still, in terms of where my master's is concerned, still doing concepts, still creating proposals that are related to the masters that I did. So that I'm constantly training myself. There's books that I get and stuff that seminars that I listen to online and stuff like that, and have kind of like tap in to that specific market, international relations and stuff like that, so that I'm aware of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, the way how I see it is that I felt like I need to ensure that if I am gonna put this all down, that I'm not gonna go back necessarily to care work or cleaning the street, or not that those jobs are bad or anything.
Just not where you want to be, and that's perfectly okay.
So I said, all right then, I at least want to know that I can at least start off with a 40k range
and still be doing something that you're still passionate about.
100%.
So I get what you mean.
So that was kind of like, that's what I see in terms of like backup plan.
So now I understand, because when you were saying the backup plan, I was a bit like, backup plan was like a 9 to 5, but yeah, I get what you mean in terms of a backup plan, you know, because it's sensible to have a backup plan, because if you don't have a backup plan and then, you know, it doesn't work out for you in terms of your own business or your own vision, and you spend, you know, 5, 10, 15 years trying to build that dream, that vision, and you haven't evolved or learned anything, as you say, you attend seminars and, you know, do other things in relation to, you know, your masters, and if you haven't sort of got that, you know, that second, as you said, that backup plan, then you know, you just be going back to doing, you know, what you was doing 15 years ago, which is pretty much living off nothing, earning nothing, and being back at the bottom of...
Yeah, and I don't like to think that I'm going back. And
but in a sense, you would be going back.
Because and there's a lot of people that I meet that it in a way it's rewarding. But there's a lot of people that I meet in the industry that this is all they are going to do, and so they really need me in order to achieve what it is that they need to do, because they don't have a backup
plan. They don't have a second.
Like singing is all I know, or artistry is all I know.
I hear you.
There's nothing else that I can do. Like, it needs to work.
It needs to work, basically.
And for some people, that is like an absolute a motivator for them to get where they need to go. For me, placing myself in a situation like that, I'd almost I'm very fearful. You know, it gives me a sense of insecurity. To know that I would have been in that situation if I never got up one day and just said, you know what, let me go and get my schooling, extend my schooling. I've got the ability to do it. Just, okay, it's 3 years of that, you know, and 1 year of that, and, you know, we live in a country you know.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't even have to, you know, because myself as well, you know, I've been down the same route, but it doesn't have to necessarily, I don't believe that it has to necessarily, that's why I say to my kids in it, that it doesn't have to necessarily be the sense of you go and get a degree or a master's or what have you, but be a master of what you do, innit? So whether it's, you know, you're gonna do hairdressing and, you know, you see that hairdressing ain't working out, try something else, like in the sense of music then, yeah, an artist that, you know, wants to be a vocal artist, wants to sing, perform and whatsoever, and you see that, you know what, this really isn't working out for me, but I have good lyrics, people just are not engaging with me, innit? Be a songwriter. Be a, you know, try to be
I think that's why I became kind of like a music consultant, because I thought I was a rapper.
I didn't know that, that's so funny.
I thought I was a rapper, but truth be told, the reality of life was, Aicha, you haven't got the confidence, you ain't got the makeup to set up for it. So hear what you do, help others that want to be
there you go. So you can still you can still follow your dream, you can still live your passion, and you can still make an income, but you just have to do it in a different way. Does that make sense?
100%.
You know, so that's a, you know.
I'll send you the song. Someone said to me the other day, I was like, oh,
that is so funny.
My goodness.
I did not know
I
that.
said to him, if you ever put that out, don't ever.
I would love to see that. Yeah, you know, I might put that one day.
No.
That is funny.
No, please.
I did not know that part. I mean, ever since I've known you, I've always known that you've, you know, been passionate about music. I've been on many tours with you. You know, done many stage shows, met a lot of artists along the way. I've just been on it for, you know, clout chasing. Just for the fun of it.
You've been working.
But, you know, my passion, and I've always said it to you. You know, my passion doesn't lie with music. You know, I love the, you know, the whole touring, the excitement, the whole, you know, I love
it is fun.
Don't get me wrong, but it's not
when it goes right.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not, you know, it's not something that I'm gonna get up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be a music consultant or gonna be an artist or whatever. That's not my road. That's not my path. That's not my passion. That's yours, and I've always seen that in you anyway. And I've always said that to you, haven't I?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with the having a backup plan. Sustainability, you know, it's give on. For me, it's like it could be a good thing, but then it could be also a bad thing with sustainability.
When you say bad thing, like,
not a bad thing, but a thing that keeps you procrastinating, keeps you from chasing, keeps you from getting up and going after what you know that you can have, what you know you can achieve, because you're comfortable knowing that your mortgage is paid, your car note's paid, your kids are going to school, and everything's. Do you understand what I mean?
Time consuming.
And then you don't necessarily always have the time after that, because
that's why, in a way, try and just get a job that you don't really like.
Yeah, so you're not invested in it.
Yeah, you're not invested in it. Yes. And I read somewhere, I'm not sure if it was a post or something, but it was like I think it was on Instagram, and it was like basically saying, how do people go to work and argue and have these situationships and stuff in work? And like I was like, I can kind of understand that, because when I go to work, I just work and I completely, when I get home, lock off, because it's not something that I'm not trying to argue with the boss. I'm not trying to go to it sounds really bad, the Christmas parties, you know.
You're not invested in the job.
I'm not invested that way for us to be having drinks on Friday night. You're not invested in the job,
that's what it is.
And I think, you know, like,
I think a lot of the time when you get into those sort of office romances and, you know, the tiffs and all that, it's usually within the office setting, because there's so much bitching and so much, you know, behind the scenes and so much snakery that goes on within the office setting. So you find that you do sort of get into those situationships, whereas when you're just working with the general public, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Even if you have a client that you know you're always working with, you see that it's not so, you're not so much invested, because as you said, you just come, you do your job, you go home. Yeah,
there's like, even with the care work, there's some clients that I love, that I know that some of them died while I was working, and it was emotionally hard for me. Some of them, like, I know that they're probably not around anymore, and my mind often goes on to them. But when it comes to, but remember that is still like that job, unless you get two people that you're working on, you know, is very independent within itself.
That's what I'm trying to say. So you're working with the client, but the client is your customer in a sense. That's what I mean. But in an office setting, you're working with your colleague.
Yes.
Does that make sense? You understand? You're not working directly with a client, so you have that time to be talking about each other's business. And, you know, what happened in the canteen and who's not pulling their weight or who thinks they're the office queen. And
I don't, you know what? Like, I've
been in those situations a lot of times.
Is it? Because I've, like, when I tell you,
not like me lording it, but, you know, people literally.
I don't know how they do it. Like, for me, 9 to 5, like the job that I did as a care work, like I said, 5 to 6 years, and I just about, obviously I know my manager name and one other woman that was amazing that I used to work with. Apart from that, Margarita and Lauren, those are the only two names that, you know, I can remember, which is really, 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 really bad. But I don't know no one else.
Even in my last job that I was in before the pandemic, it's the same thing. I literally went into that job with that same mindset that, you know, I'm just gonna come and do my job and go home because I'm tired of the office dramas. You get what I mean? So that's what I did. But it just takes you being friendly with one person. So it could just be you, Aicha, and we have something in common. You know, whether it's that we know people from the same place or we grew up in the same, whatever it was, skin color, whatever the case is, and I start talking to you now, like, you know, I feel confident to talk to you. I'm a newbie in the office, I feel confident to talk to you. Next minute now, you're talking to your friend, Sharon. You know, Sharon's now friends with the supervisor. The supervisor now knows your business. Now the manager knows your business.
Because
before you know it, the whole office knows your business. And it is that real because I went on holiday and I told like literally one person. And not even I didn't tell one person I was going on holiday. I went on holiday and I was staying. Remember when I told you I went to stay with my colleague over the weekend in St. Anne in Jamaica, yeah? So he was going to Jamaica, I was going to Jamaica, yeah? So we planned that we was going to meet up over the weekend. I think there was Rebel Salute going on or something. We was going to meet up and go Rebel Salute and I could stay at his house. And me and my friend went to Jamaica. I mean, when I came back from holiday, it was like a whole office talk. Like, oh, I heard you stayed with Donovan in... Sorry about that. I heard you stayed with him in Jamaica and, oh, what was happening there? And I was like, how did you know?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, and then there was a lady that wasn't even in the office, that she'd gone on secondment, finished her secondment and come back. And that was the first thing she greeted me with. And it was like, the fuck? I had one conversation with one person, like, yeah, I'm going to stay at his house. And then now it's become the whole, so that's how office
things work.
Do you understand what I mean?
And I just, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe if I was an office person type thing that may, but then even still, I don't think I would have ever got it because, like I tell people all the time, I'm friendly, but I'm not familiar.
I don't even speak.
Yeah, I'm very friendly. No. Me, you already know how I operate. I'm always friendly. Smiling. I'm very friendly, but there's a difference between being friendly and being familiar.
Yeah, I'm not friendly.
I'm not trying to
I don't even have
go
a friendly
there.
Face.
Yeah, half the people that I deal with, I cannot remember their name. It's really, really bad.
Most of the time in the office, people speak to me just out of fear. They don't speak to me because they speak to me like, oh, are you okay? Oh, you know, you looked angry, or you know, you look upset. No, this is my actual face. Bitch. No. But that's what they always say, but then that's how they, and then they start saying, oh, morning. You're right. Oh, do you want me to get you a coffee? Do you understand? Oh, I'm going to the shop. Do you want a sandwich? And that's how they get familiar.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But it's for you to know.
I'm alright, yeah.
You can be nice, but you don't get friendly. You don't start telling them your business. You can be nice, like, oh, hi, good morning. Do you understand? But you don't need to know about my partner. You don't need to know about my kids and what my kids do for a living or what they don't do or if they go to school. It's not your business. Do you understand? What I do in my personal life is not your business. Do you understand what I'm saying? The first time that I went schizo, like, not even schizo, I went from office worker to ghetto in like 0.9 seconds. the whole office was like, oh, what happened here? Do you understand what I mean? And I had to remind them that, listen, I grew up in the ghetto. I didn't grow up in Kensington.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I just know how to conform myself when I'm at work. But if you cross me, you're gonna get the hood.
And that's yeah. And I think that I think in terms of like the 9 to 5 kind of like structure of things, I think that's where it's like you almost invest your time and your energy now there.
That's your home.
Doing those things. And so I get where you're saying that it can be a negative because it becomes consuming.
If you're with us, if you even work with 5 people consistently every single day for the whole year, for many years, because you remember you spend the majority of your time at work. Do you understand? Because when you leave your 9 to 5 and you get home, you're getting home 6, 7 o'clock. You understand? You cook your little dinner, sort your kids out, before you know it's bedtime. Then you do it all over again the next day. You spend the majority of your waking life at work. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's where you form the majority of your relationships. You get me? So it's up to you how you maneuver yourself within that space, innit? And I just always choose to be a personal person. I don't choose to. I don't find the fun in sitting down talking about my business, what I did over the weekend. Do you understand? I will be nice, like good morning, as I said, you know. And even sometimes if they start that, oh, what did you do for the weekend? Oh, I didn't do nothing. So now I'm a boring person. So you're not going to keep coming to ask me every week, what did I do for my weekend? I did nothing. I don't do anything. I watch the TV. So then that way people don't even want to really engage with you.
Yeah, it's true.
You get what I mean? Because they just think, she ain't got no gossip. So, yeah. So anyway, we've strayed again as we always do.
I know, like
we always do.
But it's always interesting.
So we spoke about sustainability. We spoke about having a backup plan, and now we're going to speak about the last part,
which is
you talk about sustainability, having a backup plan. So how do you wrap it all into? I
think it's about all those things that kind of wrap back to the beginning point, which is ownership, self-worth, you know, independency, and I think it's such a liberating feeling to own something that you've built from nothing and seeing it manifest into greatness. And again, what I tell people, and not just greatness, success. And so I always tell people, measure how you define success.
Your own success.
100%. In that I say, not so much to look at other people's success, but when you look at it in relativity, meaning yesterday I couldn't get out of bed because I was so depressed.
There you go.
Today I can. That's success.
Everybody's success.
Yesterday I couldn't wake up at 9 o'clock before. 10 o'clock was the earliest I could wake up. Now I'm waking up at 9:30. That's success. It's those type of steps that will lead you to discipline yourself. That success isn't always the end goal,
or monetary,
having the big house or having the Maybach or whatever it is, the Tesla that you want. But that is little steps. Today I was walking, tomorrow I'm driving. You know, also, the next day, you know.
I think also in sustainability, what I see in a different aspect of sustainability is that we should also be thinking about leaving generational wealth. So even if you're able to start a business now in your lifetime and you're able to set that business in a way that you might not be a millionaire in your lifetime, but that business is set in its position in a sense where you can leave it to your son can leave it to his grand, you know, like your name lives on, your brand lives on, your idea lives
on. Your value.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's the way that I look at
It's a legacy, you know. It's a legacy that you're creating, and whilst it might not mean anything meaningless
to anybody else,
to anyone else, you'll notice that when you are creating and when you are walking within your own purpose and working within your own destiny, and you're seeking out your own journey and your own story, and you do create the business and you do own the business, and you manifest it into whatever success it is, whether it's from not selling any product to selling 10 every year, guess what? You've defined something in this world that is worth talking about, and you'll be surprised 20, 100 years from now that someone somewhere will mention your name. And I think that is so important. Like, the other thing, like, in closing, it's about me. I've never been a person to have much confidence, and it's built my confidence. It's shown me that I can do, I can be, and I can believe in myself. 100%. You know, and these are all actionable words, in that a lot of the time we look at ourselves from a place of how can I say, a perspective where we're not doing. It's more like just the moment of things and spaces and whatever. But now I'm actually actively doing stuff, and so within that, it's built my confidence to know that I can just about achieve anything that I put my mind to. Like, I've proved it to myself over and over again. Like, there's no one that can't tell me, there's nobody that can tell me that I can't 100%. Do this or can't do that. I will find a way. Like, and that's me. And another thing, I love when people underestimate me. I think the greatest power anyone can possess is for someone to underestimate you. When someone talks down to you, when someone underestimates your ability of what you have mastered in your given rights, in your given career, in your whatever you've chosen to do, it's a great power place to be. 100%. Because now you can use them to get what it is that you want.
I agree.
And a lot of the time what people tend to do in those situations is try and play you off as dumb. Sometimes it's good to be the one that acts like they're dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you're ready to come with them, it's like a brick wall. You understand? Coming down on them. 100%. And so all those things that, like I say, are great along the way that I've learned, like value and legacy and just building and creating, and obviously, like, I'm a creative person, so it's sustaining myself, and I'm proud of myself anyway, 100%. Of what I've done, what I've achieved, the people that the most amazing people in the world. I'm talking about the good, the bad, and the indifferent. They've all been amazing in my life, and I wouldn't change anything. Every experience that I've had, the arguments, the fight, the this, the that, I appreciate all of that, because it's molded me to where I am now. And so where I'm at now, my headspace, my heart space, my passion, my motivation is only one direction. Today, as I put a quote on my WhatsApp, I said I've met the best of them and the worst of them. So now there's nothing that surrounds me but greatness. 100%. That is the epitome of greatness, because there's balance within that now. And I've been balanced out. I think I've been balanced out with the good, and I've been balanced out with the bad. And so right now, all I can see is greatness. And if you are not going to come and step to me correct in every aspect, I'm talking about you. When you come to me, you have to know this is what you want. I have to see that you're working towards it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not only that, I have to see that you're passionate about it. And you'll see equally how much passion I show you. 100%. Like, you can, like, for instance, you come and told me about your podcast. Telling me is one thing. You've proved to me that you want to do it. 100%. So even if I don't want to get up every morning, put on my nice little tights, because I don't know when you put on tights. I had to look a bit professional. That's what I said to her. After the professional, I would do that for you, my friend, and as well. I 100%. Feel like I'm so proud of you. Like a lot of the time, we don't express. I told this to my other person that I work with the other day. We don't like to express how proud and honoured we are about being in someone's space, in their time. Like all we've got, like listen, come on, we've been around some money, girl.
It's true.
Money is not an object for us. I've seen it all. Cash is not a thing. It's just silly. You understand? But one thing I will always respect is people's time, and for you to 100%. Get up and drive here, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you feel like I have something to give to your podcast, and you acknowledge that. And so 100%. I want to say, I'm proud. I want this to go to the highest heights, 110%.
And even one time, I wouldn't have been able to, receive that.
Yeah.
I would have,
but I'm saying it genuinely.
But I'm saying that I wouldn't even have been able to receive it. Good, even if you did mean it or you didn't mean it, I would have just shoved it off and been like, "Oh no, it's just a little podcast." Or, it's just it's
not just a little.
It was another sister that I encountered while doing the podcast that has said the same thing to me many times. Like, no sis, you're not trying, you're doing it. You understand what I mean? The same one that came and jumped on the ladder. Sister circle, And she said it to me a couple of times. She said, "No, sis, you're not trying, you're doing it." Yeah. And those things give you encouragement. So, I do appreciate, the words of love and I receive it. Because as I said, one time I would have probably been,
And I can guarantee you, and this is why I'm saying, for me now, it's important for me to be around people like that, with that mindset.
100%.
I'm here for you now, not for that you might get the billion, and when you get the billion, you'll break me off. No, I genuinely want you to be on the same level.
That's what it should be.
As where we're all going to be in the next 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. So, however it is that, because we're both, in my eyes, I don't see that I'm at a better place than you, or you're at a better place than me.
We've tried. Yeah. How many different businesses, ideas have we tried? We've tried, until we're doing our own thing and still, interacting with each other. But how many times have we sat down, bashed heads, penciled out shit? Do you understand? So we equally know that we want to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And so this is what I'm saying, it's for me right now, the sustainability, backup plan, but the motivation for me to know I can only be around people of greatness. I will give you all the time. My time is so valuable.
It has to be.
I've got 24 hours in each given day. I think right now I'm putting in about 30 hours. Don't ask me how the maths is mathsing, but it's a maths. So
I feel that, man.
Sorry to talk about one, but it's mathsing. Actually, not 30, more like 60 in those 24 hours. I'm doing 60 hours in 24 hours, but it's mathsing up.
I feel
it's working out. It's doing the do.
I receive it.
So. 100%. This is, and I'm successful. I'm successful that I can give. I'm successful that I can lend you my time. I'm successful that I'm proud of you. 100%. That's my successes. Yeah. A lot of the time we place the successes on, what car you've got, what shoes you've got, no.
It's irrelevant in the given, in this, this era that we're going into. I think that's all irrelevant because everybody can have that. Do you understand what I mean? Like nice cars and all that. Yeah, we know it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say you can, have you can have anything you want. You just have to want it enough. You just have to put your mind to it. So we can all have these things. It's accessible. Do you understand? It's not like 15, 20 years ago where you saw someone driving a Mercedes and it was like, oh my God, you're driving. Anybody can drive a Mercedes. Do you understand? Because you could just go in there and lease it. 100%. Anybody can drive a fucking Mercedes. Anybody can own a mansion. Anybody can do it. As long as you got credit, good credit. Do you get what I mean?
Anyone can.
Do you understand what I mean? So I don't really, it's just like everything's accessible to everyone, so nothing really bothers me anymore.
Yeah,
you know, but
like I said,
genuine and
I'm
authentic, you know,
and I'm glad for all the experiences. Yeah.
Well, come on.
I briefly watched something that come up on Instagram. The quote is not too exact, but basically, it's a documentary. I think it's coming out on the 1st of April with Tina Turner. I'm not sure if you saw it.
No, I haven't.
But one of the people being interviewed in it, and they said it's like basically she found her greatness in all her failures, something similar like that.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's like To's speech. I think it says your greatness is found in your failure. I think that's
And you know, like I've failed a lot. I still know that I've got a lot of failures, a lot of letdowns, a lot of, you know, okay, it didn't work out for me. But I'm getting better with dealing with it.
But at the end of the day, the way that I see it, and I've been like this for, you know, many years, and that's why a lot of people always say like, oh, how do you do this, or how do you how do you cope with this, or how do you cope with that? Everything that happens to me in my life, I see it as a learning process.
Yeah.
I see it as part of my journey, innit? So it's how I process it. So I can sit there and I can be depressed and I can cry and I can...
Because failure is not a bad thing.
Apart from even failure, just even loss, everything that happens in your life... It's not a bad thing. It's just part of your process.
Some of the greatest losses that I've had, when I look at it, I smile. Yeah, like it hurts that person is not there anymore. But I smile because I learned so much
100%.
during... prior, during, even after his loss, I learned so much about myself, about people, about the state of man, about how consumed mankind is in regard to not worrying about self, but actually being happy to see people's downfall.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful to God that I can acknowledge that and know that I'm not that person.
100%.
You know, and knowing that my purpose is my purpose. No one is not going to define it for me. Yeah, be it having backup plans and sustainability is great, but I'm going to define what it is that I'm going to do and who I'm going to be. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, it's always great talking to Aicha, you know, because
you need to get Elizabeth Young on the show.
I'm working on her, you know, because for mental health, we're gonna be touching on all topics. But yeah, guys, tune in next week. Great topic coming up next week. You don't want to miss it. So thank you, Aicha, for joining me in the boardroom, because we're literally in the boardroom. You see how guys we're in the boardroom? We're in the boardroom. Like, yeah. All right, guys. See you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.